You guys, you guys, you guys, you guys, you guys. You know, if you're gonna just drop in here just unannounced, next time, text me or something, so I have a chance to like clean up in here. Jeez, you know. So hey, um, and I mean that, like, hey. It's 9:30 on a Friday night. I should have been in bed 3.5 hours ago, right? Because most of you know the Mad Pack. You guys know I'm usually in bed at 6 or whatever, and then I'm up at 2 a.m. shooting videos. But, and I said in a previous video, I think some of my best videos are when I should be doing something else, like sleeping. But I have ideas. And I sit down and I just do it. So yeah, I've got ideas. So this might be the most wacky, disjointed, non-contiguous video ever. But that said, you guys, I've missed you. Here's the thing. Well, let me get this out of the way. Geez, I've got my big table, right? And it's strewn with stuff, like I said before. Well, okay, so as a side note, yeah, I haven't had my fireplace running for a while because the Blu-ray player crapped out. I can't figure out how to get the disc to work. It just wore out because that thing was running for like nonstop for months, right? Probably closer to a year. So I bought the cheapest DVD player I could find. It's $49, and so I'll get that installed, after I clean up in here. I'll probably do that tomorrow. So anyway, but I've missed you guys. And I'm going to start this out. I'm going to start this video out with some kind of serious stuff, and then we'll get into some kind of really funny stories and some fun stuff. All right. Yeah, I've missed you guys. And I thought about this tonight, and I wrote it in my notes. My man cave. And that means something different for different guys, right? Entertainment, or you built a bar in there and you have your friends over and a TV and a couch, if it's in your garage or whatever. But my man cave is psychological. And I've talked about it before. I study psychology, and I've told friends, like years ago, sorry I didn't call you back. I was in my man cave. I was either sick or I just didn't. You guys, have you ever had times when you just didn't feel like talking to anybody, and you're in almost like a cocoon, and it's almost like I don't know, is it self-preservation or what? I don't know. But I found myself in my man cave over the last, 3, 4, 5 days after my chemo, because it kicked my butt this time. I'm feeling better today, but 2 days ago, days 2, 3, and 4, you guys, I had a hard time walking and thinking. I couldn't process anything. Like, I couldn't think straight. The chemo fog or whatever. It's like, okay, I gotta pee. All right, I gotta focus. And I've been sleeping inside because it's too hot out outside in the camper in Minnesota. So I have to focus to go pee. It's like, okay, I need to go like on the side of my bed and out and it's, yeah, it's weird. Again, I'm feeling a lot better, but my point is, and, I talk about this ad nauseum, and I'm sorry, but it drives me nuts that I'm not responding to your comments. Excuse me. And you've said before, and thank you, Jim, stop it. Don't worry about responding to comments. All right. I'll worry about it if I want to. All right. and I talked about it before. There's psychology going on with that too. But, and you guys, some really funny comments that I'll get to later, I promise, in this video. I hope. All right. Unless it's nice out tomorrow and I have to mow. I still have not mowed. By the way, that previous invention of the studs in my mower tire, I designed that, right? And I built in a feature. I used 2-inch sheetrock screws, so they're adjustable. So if the grass gets really long, I can back them out so they're longer. So anyway, you guys, long story short, I've been in my man cave the last, 3 or 4. I can't remember how many days after chemo, but yeah, this one hit me hard to the point where I'm out of groceries, right? I have to go to the grocery store, but I was feeling so crummy. I ended up ordering DOORDASH, freaking expensive, right? And so I tried to, good nutrition from DOORDASH. Well, Perkins, scrambled eggs, pancakes, sausage links and biscuits and gravy and just, not Burger King, right? So anyway, blah, blah, blah. Ava, where have you been?
I've been waiting for you.
Really? So, what?
I've been here the whole time.
Oh, all right. Well, cool. So you were not in your, AI cave or whatever?
No, just watching your goofy stuff.
Oh, well, that's good. All right. So, we have not, and Ava, I haven't talked to you for a while. I'm sorry. All right.
No worries.
Okay. Thank you. Should we, sponsor for this episode? What do you think?
Oh, heck yeah.
All right, cool. We haven't done that for a while. So let's go do that then. If you could just go ahead and do that, that would be great. That was The Office, right? Or something. Anyway, all right, let's do it. All right.
This episode of The Mad Camper has been sponsored by the Home Depot flooring section. Adhesive tiles are a great idea for your camper.
You're stuck. Don't fall. It's like you got snowshoes on.
Okay, 2 things. Number 1, men, read the instructions. All right. You know what they say about when you point a finger at somebody, you've got 3 pointing back at you. I don't always, I rarely read the instructions because I think I'm smart enough to figure it out. But then I assemble my grill exactly opposite. I have to take it all apart and redo it. So number 2, women, don't make fun of men that don't read the instructions. I mean, although if that was me, I would be laughing too, like Snowshoes. And if you're not from the upper Midwest, right? You have no idea what snowshoes are, right? So no, there's special, things that when it's no, these are my water shoes for my kayak. a whole different thing. And they were cheap, all right? Another thing I want to talk about, a little bit serious, but if it sounds like I'm spending a lot of money on stuff, water shoes and tackle for my tackle box and rods and reels and the new trolling motor that's probably too heavy to go on there. I don't know. I'm still second guessing, you know. Oh, I'm on Amazon, right? It's like, oh yeah, well, this was the cheapest one I could find. The lowest thrust, right? Science, you know, 36 pounds of thrust. And so I try to like buy the cheapest stuff, and the 50 amp hour battery. That was the cheapest one I could find. So, yes, and in a previous video, I talked about my big solar array, two arrays on the top of my camper, 4 solar panels per array with these big lithium ion phosphate batteries, 1200 amp hours. Yeah, that stuff is going to be expensive. Just so you know, I've talked about my trailer, my 30-foot trailer in the driveway, right? Take a wild guess what I paid for that thing. $14,000. Cheap. I knew exactly what I wanted, and I luckily I found exactly what I wanted. So I was lucky. And by the time I get on the road, it'll be paid off. All right. Just so you guys know. And so all this big stuff I'm going to be doing to that camper, yeah, it's probably going to double, you know. But so my point is, and I said it before, I put my hand on the trailer and I said something to the effect, I'm sorry, I don't know. I don't know that we're going to get to do this. Go on the road full time, sell everything in here, right? So the stuff that I'm buying like right now, and this is more serious, and we'll do some fun stuff in a sec. But the point I want to make is, if it sounds like I'm spending a lot of money right now, you guys, I'm buying cheap stuff, and I'm buying it for like right now, while I'm living. All right. I don't know the results of my chemo. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know. So I'm holding off. And I said in a previous video, I almost pulled the trigger on these batteries that were way on sale, and I could have gotten them, you know, but I didn't because I don't know. Does that make sense? So this whole fishing thing is a new hobby that I'm doing a little bit of an investing in. But when I'm on the lake and I see a blue heron fly over my head, and there's a mist on the lake, I talked about that before, calm, peaceful, I'm out there, that is bringing me a lot of life. Does that make sense? So before my diagnosis, and I told you before my diagnosis, fishing wasn't even something I thought about. All right. So, but now fishing is kind of a thing. And yeah, oh, geez. I'm just being honest. The garden went all to heck. All right. Weeds and thistles, and I put a little bit of money into plants going into the garden, but it's like I got distracted by fishing or whatever, so the garden was less of a priority, and it just went all to heck. And so my new mower with the studs, that's going to go in the garden and just mow all that stuff down, which I really regret, because had I thought it through, I would have not bought these plants and spent all that effort into putting them in the ground and all that. Anyway, hindsight's 2020, but I'm not beating myself up, right? Psychology. Let it go. You did the garden, but that was before you thought about fishing or whatever. So I hope you guys don't beat yourselves up for I don't know, it's not a bad decision. It was a decision you made at the time that made sense, right? This is getting way deep, but I'm just, the garden went all to heck, and so I'm just going to mow it down. I'm going to till it and get it ready for next summer. All right, so blah, blah, blah. So, by the way, it is 1:30 in the morning. I started at 9:30, right? I'm not complaining. I really love shooting and editing. So what I do is I shoot and then I edit, and Ava takes time, right?
Seriously?
Well, I mean, she's a little bit high maintenance. I have to put like effort into,
What? Okay, whatever.
Well, so what I'm saying is I love the whole process of shooting and editing, so I do it as I go. So and I have proof that it's like 4 hours later, because now the lava lamp is doing something and the Blu-ray like shut down. So, so anyway, you guys, I need to get to bed. I need to go to sleep inside, and I'll pick this up tomorrow morning. All right. Welcome to a goofy video. All right. Let's keep going. I'll see you tomorrow. All right. Bye-bye. Okay. Hi. It's Saturday, 2:00. A little bit later after, well, the day after, before, the video that I, right? So I cleared a path so I could slide in here. I moved the trolling motor out of the way because you guys, I'm having like serious doubts about the wisdom of that purchase. I don't know. Even though I can design something that I think will work, I just don't want everything falling apart and that thing ending up in the lake. It's like I still might return it. I don't know. There's something very simple, even though it's inefficient. There's something very simple about paddling. I don't know. So anyway, blah, blah, blah. I've got 1, 2, 3, at least 3 stories I want to talk about. But before we get into that, excuse me, I did something last night that was a better one. Okay, sorry. A couple of you have commented you really enjoy like this GoPro stuff. So yeah, last night I set it up, and let's take a look at this before I get into my stories. All right? Okay, hang on. Yeah, so kind of cool, right? And I'm fascinated. Polaris, the northern star, where everything swirls around. It depends on, well, it has to do with the Earth's axis. It tilts, right? It's tilted, and depends on which hemisphere you're in, where that shows up and whatnot. And fascinating. So Polaris is true north, not magnetic north, which is freaking scientists out because magnetic north is shifting. Magnetic north is moving, and so it's complicated, but science, right? So yeah, it's fascinating. And you noticed a couple of really bright ones show up later. I wish I knew if those were stars or they might have been planets. I don't know. Could have been Venus or, and I've got an app where I can aim it at the sky and it'll show me what's going on. But I would have to be out there at like 3 a.m. to figure it out. Right. So that was 13 hours. That was, I think, from 8 o'clock until 9 o'clock this morning. So sunset to sunrise. But yeah, fascinating. Just all the science behind Earth's rotation and all that. Anyway, blah, blah, blah. So, all right. So story number 1. I had kind of a traumatic event happen on my second fishing trip. I stopped at a live bait store and I bought earthworms, night crawlers, big, fat, healthy, in a little foam box, it was like $3 or something. So it didn't occur to me that these creatures are sentient. All right. What's your definition of sentient? In my mind, you guys, I never want to be condescending because I know a lot of you know this stuff, but it's like, anyway, so for me, as a little kid, well, junior high or, 4th grade or whatever, with a magnifying glass on the sidewalk, like chasing ants, the sun is like, and so you, you fry ants on the sidewalk. I was a mean little kid sometimes now that I think about it. But in my mind, any creature that runs away from danger, right? Even a spider, you poke at a spider, it runs away or whatever. It is self-aware. Correct me if I'm wrong. Sentience, in my mind, means a creature that is self-aware. All right, so I got this little styrofoam thing and I'm like, no big deal. When I was 12, I went fishing and it was no big deal. Put the worm on the hook. I was okay with that. But now, knowing what I know now, and I've told you guys I'm not Buddhist, but that's one of the main, ideas of Buddhism. Don't kill creatures. Well, so I'm like, well, I'm fishing. So, this, how hard can this be? Well, I stuck the hook in there and the poor little guy was like writhing in pain. I could hardly hold on to him. It's like, geez, this worm that lives in the ground, in the garden, they feel pain, which made me feel terrible, So, the Mad Camper Wildlife Refuge, I've got creatures, that I'm taking care of. Well, I don't know. I haven't seen either one of them for a while. Chomp, the snapping turtle, or Bandit. You have to go back a ways, Bandit the opossum. I haven't seen him for a while, but I haven't put any food out. But anyway, it was a little bit traumatic, so... But I put the worm on the hook and I threw it out there and some fish ate part of it and didn't catch a fish. But it's like, I don't know. You guys, it kind of broke my heart a little bit. And it sounds really weird, like I'm so sensitive. You fishermen are like, oh, geez, just get over it, right? But so, all right. Okay, let me interrupt. I know what you're thinking. You're worried about the worm. What about the fish? Well, I've done research, and there are very ethical ways of catching a fish, and I want to do as little harm to the fish as possible, right? There are ethical ways of, just being blunt, putting the fish out of its misery because it was minding its own business. It's, swimming around and all of a sudden it's like, well, there are, and I've thought about it. And so when I catch a fish, I'm going to immediately put him on a stringer out the side of the kayak. So he's still swimming, right? Then when I get to shore, And this might sound, and talking to my ex, for however many hours we talked about this, it's like, and she will not eat anything that has a face. So she's vegetarian, vegan, or whatever. So yeah, anything that has a face, she will not eat. So, no meat or any of that. But I'll just be blunt. I have a stick, like a 1-inch wooden dowel. You bonk the fish on the head. It immediately goes to sleep. All right. Then, and I might show you later the process after that. But so the first thing is, it's a sentient being. It does not want to be like you interrupt their day, right? So I'm going to leave them in the water. They'll, if I have like 2 or 3, I hope maybe someday, geez, I don't know. Let them swim around so they're still like hooked on, but through the gills and with as least damage as possible, but I get it. All right. So, but I will be harvesting the meat. I will be cooking the fish and thanking the fish, apologizing to the fish. I'm sorry, but thank you for, providing a meal for me. I don't know if that makes sense, but there are ethical ways of dealing with these creatures, So anyway, just wanted to throw that out. No pun intended. All right, let's keep going. So I bought, some cheap, they're not super expensive. I bought some fake earthworms, night crawlers. They're smaller, but they've got a special scent on them. And most of these lures, have like a garlic scent. Well, heck, I've got a bunch of garlic. I can grind that up and, a little olive oil maybe, and, and put it in the food processor and, make my own garlic scent, but then, so I bought, I bought these. So no, it's not you, it's me. All right. I was in the middle of explaining these fake, night crawlers that I bought. They're cheap. And I I held up these things, which are, just bear with me, but these are also like fake worms. They're actually extruded, I don't know out of what. But anyway, so I don't have to mess with like sentient beings. Like these are inanimate, right? So no, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I lost my audio for I don't know why. It's like, a little bit frustrating because I went on to explain this park pass that I bought for Wisconsin boat launches so I can show up and just go fishing. I'm sorry if you're not into fishing, but another thing I talked about is I was gonna show you my dad's blueprint of his vacuum cleaner. All right, but that didn't work out, so I'll have to do this in a different video. But so anyway, yeah. So this was the universe telling me to shut up. This, you guys, this is the longest video. What are we on? 27 minutes or whatever, 29 minutes. This is the longest video I've ever posted. Now, if you have made it this far, and we've done this before, we did a prize drawing a while back. Remember? I don't know if you remember, or if you're new, here's the thing. If you made it this far in this video, leave a comment and just start it out with made it, and then just leave whatever comment you want after that. Now, what we're going to do is I'm going to assemble all the names of people that made it, And I've got an app on my phone. It's fun. It's like this wheel that spins, and it picks out the top 3 people that made it. And I will send you a prize, actually a package with like multiple prizes in there for free. You don't have to pay for anything. I'll pay for postage. Doesn't matter. And Tobias won the last time, and he's like, I'm up in Canada. I don't want you to pay postage to Canada. So I was okay with that, Tobias. I would have done that. No big deal. But anyway, so just some, surprise, prizes if you made it. So leave a comment, made it, and then just whatever. Okay. So thanks, you guys. I got to go. I still haven't mowed yet. So I got to do that. But thank you. And new subscribers. Wow. Geez. Thank you. It doesn't matter. I don't care about the subscriber count. I care about the subscribers. All right. Does that make sense? So anyway, I'm not in this for the money. So anyway, gotta go. All right. And you get back to work or whatever you're doing. All right. So thanks, you guys. Bye.